Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 10 p.m.
Everyone's happy, they're running, they have their backpacks and their folders. I just never thought my son's joy would be seen, I guess, as a target or a discomfort.
Now on News 6, she says her 5-year-old son was declared a public nuisance by her HOA for swinging from a tree. How a seemingly tiny dispute has gone viral worldwide on TikTok.
It's a nightmare that apparently came true.
An urgent warning for all pet owners. She believes a coyote killed her cat, and they're turning up in all local counties.
Tides are way up, rain chances are going down, but it's all about to shift again. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas tells us when the cooler air is coming.
Well, knock, knock, Seminole County.
The state CFO blasts another local county for wasteful spending of your tax dollars. What happened when we pressed him for examples?
A surprise in court from suspended Sheriff Marcos Lopez why he wants his upcoming illegal gambling trial moved back to Osceola County.
But we start new at 10 tonight with a local HOA dispute going viral worldwide on TikTok. A Central Florida mom says her HOA has labeled her 5-year-old son a public nuisance. Good evening, I'm Ginger Gadsden.
I'm Matt Austin, all for swinging from a tree while waiting for a school bus. Thanks for joining us tonight. The HOA probably didn't know this mom's posts about it are reaching more than 1 million people now. She spoke with your Orange County community correspondent, Troy Campbell.
This is the bus stop right here. And right here is the tree where Ariel Barner says her 5-year-old son, Owen, has swung on. Now she says she's received a legal letter warning he stay off of it.
Because he touched a tree?
Ariel Barner says this is a picture of her 5-year-old son, Owen.
He's 5. He's went to kindergarten for the first time this year. It's October, so he's been in school 2 months.
But Barner says a couple of weeks ago, she received this letter from an attorney from the University Pines Property Owners Association, saying the violation is for, quote, children swinging from tree branches and throwing rocks.
They are hyper in the mornings. A bunch of kids out here. Everyone's happy, they're running, they have their backpacks and their folders. I just never thought my son's joy would be seen, I guess, as a target or a discomfort.
Upset by the letter, she then walked door to door, letting her neighbors know about the violation notice she had received.
She wrote him up as a public nuisance and annoyance to the neighborhood, and the money that she wants me to pay, the $382.16, I believe, is the attorney's fees to draft the letter to me.
Do you feel like you're being targeted?
I think I'm the first person to stand up for myself.
Barner says she's received an outpouring of support from her more than 1.5 million followers on TikTok, gaining tens of thousands of responses from people around the world.
When I posted about it, I only did that because when I reached out to the numbers that were available, no one got back to me. To list him as a public nuisance and annoyance to the neighborhood was disheartening as a mother. I never thought that someone would try to label my child like that and then say that it was the community's decision.
News 6 reached out to the attorney listed on the letter, who responded by saying, quote, there has never been any threat of litigation against Ms. Barner concerning her child climbing or swinging from the magnolia tree, and goes on to say, the letter was issued only after attempts by the association to resolve the matter informally were unsuccessful.
I was never issued a warning. I was never given a warning. No one ever spoke to me. There's nothing in writing. She used her power to contact the attorneys and issue a threat to my house.
And Barner says she's consulting with several attorneys before deciding her next move. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Breaking now at 10 tonight, a crucial new clue as investigators try to identify the man who shot and killed a teen girl. The 15-year-old is one of the 3 people we told you last night in what Brevard County Sheriff calls an ambush. So take a good look. These are newly released surveillance pictures of the man who may have pulled the trigger here. He's at the very least considered a suspect. Deputies are hoping someone recognizes him and comes forward. The shooting spree happened around 4:30 yesterday in the parking lot of the Anchors Seafood and Chicken Restaurant in Clear Lake Road. That's near Cocoa. Investigators say the 15-year-old girl was with a group sitting in a car when an SUV pulled up, blocked them in, and fired 20 to 30 shots. The sheriff calls it a targeted attack, an ambush between what may be a dispute between rival gang members. All deputies are saying is the car that fired the shots was a dark-colored SUV. It's not clear if the suspect they were looking for was the driver or a passenger. They urge anybody who recognizes this guy right here or has any information to call Crime Line at 800-423-TIPS or the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. Both numbers are on your screen and on clickorlando.com.
The defense attorney for suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez is trying to get her client's case moved to, of all places, the county where he was elected. Now, he's facing racketeering charges along with several others. He's accused of running an illegal gambling operation. News 6's Mike Valente explains this development came during a pretrial hearing held over Zoom today.
We went into Marcos Lopez's Zoom hearing Tuesday, expecting to learn more about his criminal trial that's now scheduled for November. But we left the hearing asking if the trial could take place in Lake County after all.
We are moving to change this venue to Osceola County, which we did already look up their trial dates there, made sure that they fell within the speedy trial as well.
Attorney Mary Ibrahim casually revealed publicly that she had filed a change of venue motion to Osceola County, where her client is even more well known than he is in Lake County.
This is way outside the norm. This is not the way it's normally done.
That's Neil McShane, a defense attorney who is not associated with the case, but says that if he were defending Lopez, he would have filed the same motion.
So from a tactical point of view, lawyers have to make tactical calls. I think it's an excellent move tactically to get it back into Osceola County.
McShane notes that typically defense attorneys want to escape venues where there's a lot of pretrial publicity, seeking a court several counties away where the noise is not as loud. But here he says the primary motivation may have something to do with the makeup of the jury pool.
Anything to get out of Lake County, to be honest with you. The fact that Lake County was picked is very normal for a prosecutor because it's a more conservative county and more likely to get a conviction.
We've requested the motion for the change of venue, but we have not yet received it. But McShane says it will probably lean on the fact that Lopez's indictment mentions Osceola County many times.
From a constitutional point of view, you are entitled to be tried in the county where the crime took place.
So typically we would see the prosecutors make this motion, not the defendant.
Matter of fact, in my view, the reverse of what you normally see, the prosecutor in this case may just argue, Judge, you can't get a fair trial in Osceola County because he's the sheriff and because of all the pretrial publicity.
The judge in this case will hold a hearing on the change of venue motion next week, October 14th. I'm Mike Valente, News 6.
A month and a half since the state's DOJ team subpoenaed Orange County workers, accusing them of deception. Auditors have set their sights on 4 more counties in 5 cities, including Orlando. Just last week, the state CFO accused Orlando and Orange County of wasteful spending. Tonight, Seminole County is the latest in his crosshairs, but leaders are pushing back against Blaise Ngolia's claims that they have misspent millions of your tax dollars. Your Seminole County community correspondent, Catherine Silver, pressed the CFO for specifics.
The CFO claims that Seminole County has not only wasted taxpayer dollars, they've also raised the property tax rate when they should be decreasing it based on his calculations. But when I asked him about specific instances of overspending, he didn't give any.
I made a statement that if any local government raised property taxes this year when families are hurting and trying to make ends meet, they would get a knock on their door by me and my office. Well, knock, knock, Seminole County.
Florida's chief financial officer, Blaise Ngolia, came to Seminole County with his numbers Tuesday. He says the general fund budget has grown by $137 million since 2019.
That is a 46.7% increase.
The CFO says when you take into account inflation and population growth, it adds up to more than $48 million in what he calls wasteful spending. But Seminole County leaders responded with this statement that says in part, quote, the board's decision to approve a millage increase was not made lightly. It was a necessary step. But Seminole County leaders have spent the last several months defending their budget.
These are your taxes. These are your assets. These are your services. We take no pleasure and the costs going up.
In September, commissioners decided to raise the property tax rate for the first time in nearly 2 decades.
The surrounding counties that already have high millage rates are not raising them. The surrounding counties that have low, that have historically been very conservative, are raising them because they've been pushed to the edge by some of the things that are happening in the marketplace.
The county has given examples for the budget increase, including rising transit costs, unfunded state mandates, and competitive salaries for sheriff's deputies. We asked the CFO for his insight.
Can you cite specific examples where you believe Seminole County has misspent money?
This is a FAFO review audit. It is not a Doge audit. We have not been on site pulling all of the information to cite specific examples.
The CFO did mention other visits to Orange County, Broward County, and places where they have actually gone in and looked at the books. He says what his office is doing here in Seminole County is taking a high-level look at spending. It's all part of the governor's push for property tax relief. In Seminole County, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Thank you, Catherine. Well, tonight all eyes are on the weather for a couple reasons. There's a new tropical storm, though it's not really a threat to us.
Yeah, and king tides are still high on the coast. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, though, is promising cooler weather on the way.
Yeah, that doesn't arrive until the weekend, though, so a long time to wait for that to get here. Unfortunately, we still have that breeze out of the east as well. That's helping to push the Atlantic further in. High tide occurred just a little bit ago. We'll be watching the tide go back in. We'll talk about the latest forecast on that front coming up at about 10:19.
$50 million to help fix some of the most flood-prone parts of one local county. How this money could get results, one neighborhood at a time.
A big box store abandoned for ages about to be transformed into something special. Hal Cassini took action tonight.
Well, I certainly don't want to happen to anybody other's pet, or even maybe a small child to be approached or attacked by a coyote. That's just a horrible thing.
She believes her beloved cat was killed by a coyote, the alert she's sounding, and why pets in every local county could be at risk.
You're watching News 6 at 10. We are live on a Tuesday night covering Flagler Beach, Fruitland Park, and all of Central Florida.
Now on News 6, a warning for pet owners across Central Florida. Heartbroken cat owner and Winter Garden has a message.
Yeah, she believes her cat was mauled to death by a coyote, and FWC says coyotes can now be found in every county statewide. Your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton, explains the danger.
That pet owner tells me they spent days putting up signs just like this one in search of that missing cat. Now they fear what happened to it as they put up beware of coyote sighting signs.
It was a nightmare that apparently came true.
Holding a photo of her sweet cat, Callie.
So she was born, we knew her since, she was in her mama's womb.
For the past week, Dinah Carbonneau has searched high and low for Callie in her Winter Garden neighborhood after she slipped out at night.
We have a front cat door and a back one through a sliding glass door that does go into a very safe fenced area, but they are free to roam.
But Callie never returned, and Dinah says the neighbor called and told her a coyote attacked her cat. When you heard that news, how did that feel?
It was a shock to hear, and then as she went on to describe probably how Callie's life ended, I just became more and more horrified to think that our cat was attacked and maybe torn apart.
FWC states due to natural range expansion, coyotes have been documented in every county across the state and are well adapted to urban and suburban environments, eating a wide variety of food. If pets are kept in a fenced area, the fence should be high enough coyotes can't jump or crawl under it. Dinah says that this has always been her fear.
Maybe because she was overweight, she couldn't get away as quick as some of the others.
Dinah now choosing to not let her cats out at night and making beware of coyote sighting signs around the neighborhood.
Well, I certainly don't want to happen to anybody other's pet, or even maybe a small child to be approached or attacked by a coyote. That's just a horrible thing.
And if you are outside with your pets and a coyote does approach you, officials say that you can make loud noises, wave your hands, and also if you have a strong hose nearby, you can spray that water on that coyote to get them to move away. Reporting, I'm your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton.
New at 11 tonight, Kissimmee is moving forward with plans to turn an ugly, abandoned big box store into something special.
Yeah, for years now, leaders have debated what should happen to the former Kmart. It's a prime piece of land, too, 22 acres on West Vine Street, also known as 192, between Kissimmee Gateway Airport and John Young Parkway.
Tonight, the city council picked a developer to turn it into green space, affordable housing, and places to shop and eat. Your Kissimmee community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez takes a look.
This is my wife.
The first place the Florendos shopped when they moved to Kissimmee 5 years ago was Jason's Best Asian Market in the same area as the empty Kmart.
If they will put up a residential establishment, it's good for the community.
Now Florendo wants to see the space reinvigorated.
Maybe be business establishment or shopping malls or residential area.
And that's what the city plans to do.
So we see this project as a catalyst for additional development to attract investment to create jobs along the main corridor.
In July, Kissimmee asked for proposals, and after reviewing the submissions, staff is recommending the commission move forward with the plan by Captrata and Hedrick Brothers Development. Their proposal would transform this long abandoned area into 630 residential units, over 51,000 square feet of retail and commercial space, as well as an over 73,000 square foot indoor sports facility. David Rodriguez believes this project aligns with Kissimmee's redevelopment goals and what residents want to see there.
Commercial development, mixed use, green areas, gathering places.
Possibly a 24-hour gym, something that keeps lights on and negative people out of the parking lot would be good.
I'm your Kissimmee community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
In Volusia County, some much-needed funding has been approved to help neighbors cope with flooding problems we've reported it on for years now.
Yeah, the Volusia County Council signed off on earmarking leaders nearly $50 million in federal grant money for 14 flood mitigation projects. The applicants are ponying up $30 million for a total of nearly $80 million for flood relief. This includes projects in Port Orange, building new stormwater ponds, pumping systems, and flood relief systems there. Now, flooding in Port Orange is something people in the community have shared concerns about with us for a while. Just last month, your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed spoke with neighbors in Sleepy Hollow after just 4 inches of rain caused water to build up in some homes.
About $8.5 million of the grant money will go to the city of DeBary. The money will improve stormwater systems, protect neighbors or neighborhoods, and fortify West High Banks Road. On the west side of the city, currently, water drains through the High Banks Marina Mobile Home Park before reaching the St. Johns River. That will change.
And we have had a soggy few days here. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas has a look at that coastal flood advisory.
Yeah, and remember, this one doesn't have to do with any kind of rainfall. This is all because of the tides and whatever is being pushed into the shoreline. So again, it's going to be a pretty sunny day tomorrow for the most part. And we're still watching again for the potential for some coastal flooding. That advisory rolls until Thursday evening. It could get extended out further as well, maybe even further into the weekend, all because of the combination of those king tides. Again, we have the moon at its closest approach that it makes all year. That super moon, it's still pretty big out there. If you've been outside, it's in that perfect alignment with the sun too to help maximize the tides. That's where we get the king tide from. And then the breeze still out of the east, helping to push that tide in a little further. It's just some minor coastal flooding that we are monitoring. We've shut the spigot off, at least for the time being. As we go into tomorrow, I think a lot of us are going to be on the drier side. There will be a stray shower in the mix tomorrow. But again, most of us going to be dry. There's 6 o'clock. I think everybody gets in on a dry start for a change. Once we get into tomorrow morning, later in the morning, just an opportunity for a stray sprinkle to sneak on shore. That's about it. There's 1 o'clock, just doing a little dodging in terms of a stray downpour or a sprinkle moving through. Again, this should not be a huge deal. A lot of us are going to be on the drier side, but there's still that very small chance for those downpours, and we'll likely see a few on the radar tomorrow. That's 9 o'clock on your Wednesday. I think we'll keep things mainly on the drier side before we start to increase rain chances a little bit more getting into Thursday. As far as tomorrow goes, again, rain chances at 30%. We're back to the upper 80s in Orlando because we're going to be drier. There's going to be more sunshine out there, hanging around 90 in Wildwood, Palm Coast. Good evening. We are at 85 tomorrow. Then we start to turn the tide a little bit into Thursday. Big cold front inbound. This is going to help to increase rain a little bit, especially along the coast on Thursday. Now, what we have going on here as we move into Friday and the weekend, along this front, we have a big-time coastal storm getting going. This is going to be a huge deal for the Carolinas, but as it ramps up off our coast, you see the blue arrows there, that could add to some coastal flooding concerns, and then also send back another wave of some heavier rain Thursday into Friday. So watching how that shakes out and how that area of low pressure actually comes together. Then it slides up the Atlantic coastline. As it does so, then it helps to drag down that drier, much cooler air that we've been advertising for the last couple of days as we move into Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and really the middle stages of next work week. There is the latest tropical storm. This is Jerry on the list. Really only watching this for the extreme northeastern Caribbean. This one is going to bend that big cold front that we just talked about. That's going to help send Jerry packing from the United States. Bermuda also going to have to watch. That one should also stay to the east. The island, though, likely going to get to at least Category 2 intensity as it stays out into the middle of the ocean. 40% shot for downpours on Thursday. That turns to 60% on Friday. Still a chance for a few coastal showers on Saturday. Then that drier air comes in. Temperatures getting back into the lower 80s.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, exploding fires and garbage trucks, a scooter battery sparking smoke, even on airplanes.
Lithium-ion batteries are everywhere, and when they fail, the results can be devastating. Next at 10, News 6's Jana Manahalal shows you what you can do to prevent those fires.
and how batteries not like this one, but like this one, are causing household fires every day. I'm News 6's Jana Manahal, and I'm going to show you how you can prevent those fires.
So just be aware, these things can show up in anything throughout your home.
Lithium-ion batteries are everywhere. Just last month, a lithium-ion scooter battery sparked a fire in an Ocala apartment. And in Seminole County, those batteries caused a truck fire that you see here in this video, and it caused nearly $500,000 in damages.
And the issue with the lithium-ion batteries is if they get damaged or overheated, they can go into a process called thermal runaway, which can lead to fires and explosions or even releases of toxic gases.
Oliver Bond is a manager with the Seminole County's Solid Waste Management Center, and he gives advice about how to handle these batteries during Fire Prevention Week.
Make sure you're using the charger that came with the device. If it's running very hot, that you unplug it. And if you see any swollen batteries, immediately stop using them. Do not charge them, and bring them to a safe drop-off, like here at our Central Transfer Station in Longwood.
Florida's Division of State Fire Marshal reported 260 lithium-ion battery fire incidences in the past year. And Bond says many of those reports could have been avoided by not throwing out the battery.
Trucks have compactors built into them, and when those compactors crush those batteries, that can activate that thermal runaway, and they can explode or set fire.
Bond says if you're unsure about the battery, just bring it to your local waste management for help. News 6 investigators revealed a gap in battery safety rules that led to a law empowering the state fire marshal to regulate lithium-ion battery storage and disposals statewide.
So we're going to lean forward and we're going to start creating policies that make sense for safe handling. KMG was a great part in all of that. Couldn't have done it without them.
We've reached out to the CFO office for an update on the law's status, but have not heard back. In Seminole County, Jana Manahal, News 6.
Thanks for joining us. You can find all of tonight's stories plus breaking news on News 6 Plus.
It's free to download to your smart TV or your streaming device. I thought you were going to keep talking.
It said to stop.
Have a good night.